Good morning or afternoon, everybody, depending on where you're joining us from. Thank you for joining this round 4 Solar Prize webinar. We're going to wait just about 2 minutes to give everyone a chance to get online and get ready, and then we'll get started. So please just sit tight. We'll begin shortly. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm Harrison Dreves from the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. Thank you so much for joining us for the kickoff webinar of round 4 of the American Made Solar Prize. Sarah Gomash is going to walk you through all the details today, but before I hand it over to her, I have a few quick housekeeping items to go over. Slides from this webinar are going to be posted on the HeroX platform, so you can go back and review all the requirements in detail there. We also encourage you to get on HeroX if you aren't already. It's a great place to find resources around the prize. If anyone's having audio or other technical issues, we first recommend switching from computer to phone audio. That can be a little more reliable if your internet connection is spotty. You can also contact GoToWebinar technical support, or you can put a comment into the question box, and I'll do my best to help you figure out your technical issues in there. We'll also be taking questions at the end of this webinar. So at any point during the webinar, if you have a question, just type it into the questions panel and we'll do our best to answer as many as possible at the end of the webinar. I can't guarantee we'll get to every question, but we'll do our best to answer as many as possible. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Sarah Gomash, who's going to walk us through the kickoff for round 4. Sarah.
Great, thanks so much, Harrison, and thank you everyone for joining today. We are really excited to have round 4 of the Solar Prize open, and as that implies, we've done rounds 1, 2, and 3, and have seen a lot of good ideas through there. But know there's still a lot of good ideas out there from the rest of you, and so we're excited to walk you through kind of what the Solar Prize is, remind you of some important dates. Help you submit to the READY competition, which is the first stage. Talk a little bit about how your submissions are going to be reviewed. Talk a little bit about something we call the American Made Network, and then answer any questions that you might have today. So, an overview of the Solar Prize. The American Made Solar Prize is a part of something we call the American Made Challenges, and they are a group of prize programs that are really looking to energize American ingenuity, empower entrepreneurs, and support them with a network. The Solar Prize was the first prize in this family, and to date we have about 12 prizes under this umbrella, under a bunch of different technology areas. So even if the Solar Prize isn't a good fit for you today, we definitely encourage you to go to our website and check out those other prizes. But for the Solar Prize specifically, it is a $3 million prize competition that has 3 different phases: ready, set, and go, and we'll talk through those. And then it's supported by something we call the American Made Network. So this is a network of incubators and universities and fabrication facilities and accelerators and other organizations that are out there to help you be successful in this prize program. So a lot of you are probably familiar with a grant, and you're probably wondering kind of what makes a grant or a prize so different. So with grants, you know the process. You write and submit a concept paper or an LOI, and that's reviewed, and then you submit this full proposal and application, which normally has pages and pages of technical materials, a detailed line budget. There's a ton of selection and negotiation. You get this really thick contract where if you want to change anything in that project, it goes through a whole nother review process. You finally begin performing on your work. And then as you do your work, you prepare and submit that reimbursement request. And then those are reviewed. You have to do kind of monitoring and evaluation follow-up. I think we all know that that process is kind of burdensome. So in contrast to something like that, this is a prize, and a prize we're awarding you for work that you've done. So all of you right now are competing in the first phase of the prize, the Ready contest, which ends on October 8th when submissions are due. You are working to a goal that we're going to share with you right now. You're going to complete your submission package telling us what you've done. Our panel of judges and the Department of Energy review your work, and then we make a decision. And when that decision's made, we send you a no strings attached payment. Literally, you could do anything with that payment. To be successful, we hope you use that payment and you put it back into your innovation and your idea and keep moving through the prize. But we don't expect a lot of reporting on that. You can spend that however you want. It is a straight cash payment to you, which I think is exciting. And a lot of the teams that have competed in the Solar Prize before just tell us how useful having flexible cash now to keep working on your innovation is. So as I mentioned, the Solar Prize is a $3 million contest. It has 3 phases. So the first phase, which is what we're in right now, is the Ready contest. And in the Ready contest, we're really asking anyone in the US with an innovative idea in solar that impacts kind of US solar manufacturing, submit your idea. This can be kind of something you've been tinkering with. It could be something that maybe you've built a small prototype of. Kind of any idea counts here. From those submissions, we choose about 20 submissions, and each of those submissions receive $50,000 each, straight cash payment. Once you receive that, you enter the set phase of the contest. And so in the set phase, what we're asking you to do is really to take that idea and create a proof of concept. You'll work over about 3 months to do that. At the end of the set phase, we do a demo day where you'll do a pitch, you'll show us your progress, and we pick 10 of those 20 teams to win $100,000 each and a $75,000 voucher to work with a national lab or facility in our network. Finally, those 10 teams work for another about 4 months to build a prototype and to find a pilot partner for their idea. At the end of that, 2 of those 10 teams will each win $500,000 in cash and another $75,000 in vouchers. So to summarize, that means over the course of a year, if you go through the Ready, Set, and Go competitions, you can win $650,000 in cash and another $150,000 in vouchers for technical assistance, which it's a lot of money, and it's all kind of flexible money for you to spend to really go from idea to proof of concept to prototype. So who can compete? Basically anyone who is a US citizen can compete. And we're looking for basically anyone with the next idea in solar. You can be a scientist, you can be a student, you can be an academic faculty, an entrepreneur, anyone with a big idea. The advantages to winning and participating in this challenge: you win kind of increasingly significant cash prizes. You win vouchers to access expertise at national labs. You become part of this American Made Network family and get feedback from and connections to investors and partners. And these organizations are really motivated to provide mentorship and connections to you. So again, anyone with an idea, we definitely encourage you to put it in. Some of the nitty gritty, one of the questions that we get a lot is who's eligible. So for the Ready contest, again, that's the phase that we are in now. Private entities, could be for-profit or nonprofit, academic institutions, and individuals can all compete as long as they meet this criteria. Private entities must be incorporated in and maintain a primary place of business in the United States with a majority domestic ownership and control. Academic institutions must be based in the United States. An individual prize competitor who is not competing as a member of a group must be a US citizen or permanent resident. A group of individuals competing as one team may win, provided that the online account holder of the submission is a US citizen or permanent resident. Later in the competition, individuals will not be eligible to win. Individuals must be part of a team, and the submission must be submitted by an entity in the US, but that's only for the later contest. So for the Ready contest, you can be associated with a university, with an institution, or you could be an individual or a group of individuals. Really, we want you to get your ideas in there. If you do have questions about eligibility, we'll also point you to where you can find the official rules and kind of read that kind of word for word laid out. So important dates. What you need to do right now is sign up to be a part of the challenge, learn about the connectors and see what types of services they offer. We'll talk about them in a little bit, and get your submission in by October 8th at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So again, remember, you're kind of working on your idea right now, and that October 8th deadline is when you need to get your idea into us. So what you need to know about the Ready contest. The goal of the Ready contest, so by October 8th, is to transform an important problem from the conceptual solution to a plan for building a proof of concept. So really, it's a fancy way of saying we're looking for your idea. You can read all about all three contests, but the Ready contest specifically, in the official rules for the Solar Prize. They are available online, and I'll show you where you can access those too. We'll also make these slides available so you can follow this link. So what should you be doing right now to be ready for that Ready contest? You should look at kind of the problem and solution fit. What sort of problem do you see in the solar space, or a problem that you think solar can solve? And develop a credible solution to that problem. Maybe do some due diligence to validate that the proposed solution has technical potential and market feasibility. Maybe look around, form a team, kind of see what expertise you need, and really work on cultivating your network. And we have resources available to help you with all of these things. But I think these are really, if you can focus on these three things, you'll be really successful in the Ready contest. So what do you need to submit by October 8th? The first thing we ask for is a 90-second video. This video is a part of your submission and will be made public after the review period. We just have a quick cover page with basic information about yourself or your team. We ask you to answer 4 questions about the problem, solution, team, and plan. We ask for a quick technical assistance request, a 1-page PowerPoint slide, and then if you do have any letters of commitment or support, we'll take those, but they are completely optional at this stage. So I'm going to dive into these different components of your submission, but overall, this is your submission package by October 8th. So your 90-second video is typically the first thing that people look at, and it's a summary of you, your innovation, the problem you're trying to solve, and why your solution should be picked. We are not looking for a full-length feature, super professionally edited Hollywood film. Really, if you have a friend that shoots you on your iPhone, that's great. We like to see you. We like to hear you talk. If you have things to show us, we like to see that too. We encourage you to be creative, get some feedback on your video from others. And our judging panel will really look to make sure that your video explains a compelling real-world problem, demonstrates some sort of solution that you've come up with, and tells us a little bit about you. So again, all of that in 90 seconds. Doesn't have to be super fancy. but we want to see you and what you're doing. Then we'll ask for the written portion. That's 4 questions. It has a 2,500 word limit across all of these 4 questions. You can choose how you split that word count. The first section is the problem. What is the problem and why is solving it important? The second is the solution. What's your solution and why would it be successful? The third is tell us about your team. What have you done to date? What qualities give you a competitive edge? And 4, kind of what's your plan? How are you going to achieve, what are your goals and how are you going to achieve them? The thing that I'll note here is I think just remember your audience when you're writing this. This is a solar prize, and so I think when you're focusing on your problem, really tell us what that problem in the solar industry is. You have a precious word count of 2,500 words and probably way more than that to say. So I would encourage starting your problem at the right point. A lot of times we see people that kind of start with a problem of climate change or something like that. And I think you can definitely make a tie from your submission to something like that, but don't spend too much time on kind of these broad problems. Really dive into the problem specifically that your solution solves. To guide you in the rules for each of these questions, we have suggested content for you to provide. And then we have the statements that the review panel is going to be looking at. So you can kind of look what we suggest that you answer, and the reviewers will be rating each of these statements on a 1 to 6 scale. And so kind of make sure that you hit all of the bullet points that they're looking for. I'm not going to read through all of this, but you can find it in the rules. And I would definitely suggest reading the rules and going through these to get guidance on what you should be putting in that submission. The third piece of that submission package was a technical assistance request. This is something, as I mentioned, that in the later contests, you have the opportunity to win a voucher to work with a national lab, like NREL or another Department of Energy lab, or a facility in our network. What we're really looking for in this technical assistance request is what sort of technical assistance do you need? Do you need help with certifications to code? Do you need help with reliability testing? Do you need help with a cost modeling analysis? Think of things that access to some of these facilities could be really, really helpful with, and what you would ask them to do that would really help you meet your goals. This is something that then gets shared kind of with those organizations, and if you do win the READY contest, we use it to kind of help you find the right expertise. Again, kind of really think about what will help you move things forward. You don't necessarily just need to test for the sake of testing, but is it a specific test? Do you need help manufacturing a certain component of your system? Do you need some design consultant? Do you need help testing how your hardware fits with something else? I think the possibilities here are endless, and just really think about like what you could really use help with. I also want to clarify that I think some people get a little bit hesitant really putting out what they need help with, because they think it makes maybe them look weak or not strong enough, or that you don't know enough. Remember, this is the READY contest, and our ask of you is an idea. And I think being able to show kind of what you think you need help with technically, I think actually reinforces your ability to deliver on this, because it shows the reviewers that you've kind of thought through some of these next steps, and you have some idea of what you need to do kind of to take this to a commercialized product. So I would say don't be shy about putting your needs here. It's the first phase, and the whole design of this program is also get you the help that you need to be really successful. So we use a website called HeroX as our submission platform. HeroX is what you're going to use to put that submission in. We also on HeroX have a template for you to use that walks you through kind of everything you need to submit for your package as well. So what you do when you go to HeroX, you first click this big button that says Accept Challenge. The screen that you'll see will actually say Solar Prize Round 4. But HeroX really is your go-to platform for anything you need. You can see kind of the bar across the center of the page. Has the timeline with all the important dates that you need to know. The Updates tab will have important reminders from our team to you. The Forum tab is something that I really encourage you to use here, and we'll talk about them in a little bit, but our Power Connectors and Connectors are there to help. If you have a question for the NREL team, you can put it in there. If you want to discuss something with other competitors, definitely use this as a message board and a place to connect. Under the Community tab, you can find other people that are signed up to follow this challenge. You can make a quick profile about yourself if you're looking maybe to join a team or looking for specific expertise for your team. This Entries tab is the important one. That's where you'll submit your proposal. Finally, that Resources tab will have a link to the official rules. It'll have a link to that template that I just showed you, and maybe any other documents that are useful. And then, of course, the FAQs section. So I really encourage you, if you're not already, to go to HeroX to follow our challenge, and we'll give you the website for all of that. And this is where you can be engaged and stay up to date and make sure you don't miss anything. And this will also be the webpage where you submit your proposal. So after the Ready stage, if you win, you must win the Ready contest in order to compete in the Set and the Go contests. You'll win the Ready contest, and then you'll keep working on your innovation. You will get to submit another submission package in about 3 months later, and pitch at a demo day event and receive more cash, prizes, and vouchers. So hopefully by now I have convinced you that you have an idea and you want to apply for the Ready contest, but maybe you're still a little bit lost or a little apprehensive or want to run your idea by someone or looking for help. So this is where the American Made Network comes in. The American Made Network is a group of more than 100 partners across the US that are there to enable you to get access to resources that you need. So you can go to our website and we will show you how to navigate that. You can go to our website and find connectors in your area. Our connectors are also posting on that webpage on the HeroX forum. So they're there, they've raised their hand and said, you know, I'm an organization that can help entrepreneurs in the solar space be successful. And so you'll see different connectors have different skill sets, and they're there to help you. Talk to them about your idea. Ask them to help connect you to maybe an organization that could be your customer. Maybe they can look at your video, but really utilize this network as people that are there to help support you and really want to see you succeed. The other piece about the network is if you win, we pay connectors to help you. So if you work with a connector, make sure to list them in your submission. For each winner of the Ready contest, we will pay the connector that helped them most $5,000. So this is another way to say, you know, let's partner on this together. I'd love your help. I'm going to put you on my submission, and if I win, you can get a payment from the Solar Prize as a thank you for the work that you put in. There are more opportunities for those connectors to get paid as you move through the competition. So if you work with a connector in the Ready contest, the Set contest, and the Go contest, they can get payments at each stage throughout that. The connector guidelines are also posted in the rules and on the HeroX website, but I definitely encourage you to use those guidelines to help get help from those connectors. And to please, if you do work with a connector, make sure to list them on your submission. There are probably some people on the line today saying, you know, Sarah, I don't think I'm the type of person that has an idea, but actually my organization could fit that connector role really, really well. We would Love to have you sign up to be a part of our network. You can head over to our website, americanmadechallenges.org, and there will be a link there where you can sign up to be a part of that network, and then we'll work with you to bring you on board as a connector partner. For those connectors that are listening today, I want to remind you that in addition to those recognition awards, we are running the Accelerator Challenge. Connectors, you guys are really important in helping get the word out and finding all of these great teams. Really, the prize isn't successful without you. And so this challenge kind of rewards you for doing the things that you're already doing. When you put out a social media post, or if you do a phone call with a team, or a team lists you on their submission, keep track of that. We'll give you points for all of those activities, and the connector that has the most points at the end will get some cash prizes and some more kind of media coverage and features. This is above and beyond those connector awards. So if you do work under the Accelerator Challenge and come in for second or third place in the challenge and help a winning team, you get double paid. So I just want to make sure you're all aware of this information. If you would like more information about the Accelerator Challenge and how to really support these teams, please do email us at solar.prize@nrel.gov. Again, for both competitors and connectors, we've heard from teams in the past that the competitors have really found a lot of value in working with some of our connectors. And so we're happy to help try to make those connections for you and make sure you get the help that you need to be successful. With that, there's kind of another layer on our network called Power Connectors. So our connector network is organizations that have raised their hand and volunteered to help. And if you list them on their submission, then they get a recognition award for that. Power Connectors are 5 organizations that we currently have under contract to help us help you. So it's the University of Arizona's Center for Innovation, Z Prime in Texas, ADL Ventures, Nation of Makers, and the Wilton E. Scott Institute for Energy Innovation at Carnegie Mellon University. We'll make sure that these Power Connectors have posted on the HeroX forum and that you know how to reach them. But these 5 people are your go-to resources. As I said, we have contracted them to help you. They are there to review your submission, to talk about your idea, to look at your business plan, to connect you with customers. These guys are here to help you, and we really hope that you take advantage of them. These guys are experts. They've been through several rounds of the Solar Prize before and helped a lot of teams in that process. And so we really encourage you, if you're apprehensive about applying, if you want to talk through your idea more, if you want their perspective, if you need help navigating the network, these 5 are your go-to, and there will be resources about how to contact them up on that HeroX page. But don't be shy. This is what they're here for. They obviously can't reach out to everyone in the world and say, what can we do to help you? So if you make that first step and that first introduction, they will definitely pick up the conversation and be with you and work through the submission process with you. So please don't be shy or hesitant to reach out to them. This is exactly what they're there for, and they are really, really good at it. So if you take nothing else away from this presentation, besides your October 8th deadline, take away that connect with one of these guys, and they will help you through this process. So to get started, make sure you visit our website. It's americanmadechallenges.org/solarprize/round4, or go to and that will take you to the HeroX page. And this is kind of where you'll get going, and your home base for everything throughout the prize. Finally, if you have any questions that we don't answer today, anything that comes up while you're working, if you are struggling to get in contact with a Power Connector, please do email us at solar.prize@nrel.gov. But with that, we will look at any questions that have come in during the presentation. And if you have any other questions, please definitely feel free to type them in the question box now. So looking through what we have. Oh, there's a bit of a confusion when we introduced the prize. We talked about this is work on what the candidate has already done. However, the ready, set, and go needs with the prototype are conflicting statements. Yeah, so that's a good question. When I say kind of we're rewarding you for work already done, it's the work that's already done during each of those phases. So what we say is, in the Ready contest, we ask for an idea. I think in a prize program situation, we want to see that you've thought about this idea a little bit, that maybe you've talked to a couple people in the solar space about it, that maybe you have some proof that it could technically work. So we're really kind of looking for you to have done a little bit of background research on that idea to get to Ready. Then when you get to the end of the set contest, we're looking for you to have developed that idea into a proof of concept. And then when you get to the go competition, we're looking for you to have developed that proof of concept into a pilot. Throughout the course of the prize, we'll walk you through all of those steps. But I think when I say kind of you're rewarded for work that you've already done, it's the thinking, it's the networking, it's the team building, it's everything that you're doing now to put into that submission. There's a question about, are you awarding grants for thermal solar energy technology? The solar prize, one of the things that I love about it, and probably one of the things that may frustrate competitors about it, is that it is purposely broad. Anything solar related, as long as there's a hardware component, is eligible. We want to see stuff that has some sort of impact on US manufacturing and the US solar industry, but what specifically that is within the solar space is up to you. So solar thermal definitely counts. I think the next question that we got is similar to that, but just the other side. Our application area is limited to the photovoltaic domain. Nope, again, anything in the solar space, anything that relates to the solar space, we definitely encourage you to apply with. And I really do mean that broadly. I think we see successful people who have been maybe working in a certain sector of solar for years and years and years. We see people that are successful in this prize that have never done anything in the solar industry, but maybe think they have something that could be applicable to the solar industry. As long as you can make that connection in your proposal, it's great. Again, as I said, the requirements are there needs to be some sort of hardware component, and it needs to have some sort of US impact. There's a question about, can we use previously made pitch talks for the 90-second video? Yes, you can. I think as long as it covers some of the points that we talked about, that will work. I think a lot of times the review panel that goes through your submissions often looks at the video first. So if you do have another pitch video that gives a really good impression of what you're trying to do, that totally counts and we'll take it. There's a question on, does the pitch video become available to the public? Are there ways to keep it confidential? The pitch video does become available to the public after the judging period ends. There are parts of your submission that are public and parts that are confidential. Part of this process is that we really do want to kind of get word out about some of these ideas. And so the pitch videos are made public. So if there is information that you're nervous about having publicly available, don't put it in your pitch video. That technical narrative, those 2,500 words with the 4 questions, problem, solution, team, and plan, that is private and only the reviewers and the decision panel will see that. So if you have kind of more confidential information that you don't want shared publicly, put it in the written form, but know your video will be made public. And that leads me to another point. As part of participating in this prize, once all of the submissions are received, the public parts of your submission, so that video, will be peer reviewed. So each of you will get 5 to 10 of your peers' submissions to look at the video and rank as well. So definitely make sure that that video piece is something that you're willing to share publicly. There's another question, can the 90-second video be fully animated? Yep, you can do whatever you want with those 90 seconds. It can be animated, it can be PowerPoint slide narrated, it can be in person, you name it, you can do it in your video. I think another question about the types of technology, which I think we've covered. It's broad, anything that relates to the US solar industry is applicable. And if you have really specific questions, those power connectors are a great resource to go to as well. A question on how long does it take to sign up and get approved as a connector? This is a great question. It is a quick process. The form will probably take you 15 minutes. And then within about a week, we will review it and a member of our team will set up a one-on-one phone call with you to finish the process. And if you have more questions on how to be a connector, please definitely do email us. We would love to have you on board. There is another question on, is it better to compete as a private entity or individual team? In the ready phase, it doesn't matter. We don't weight one over the other. It's just whatever you are, but know if you are successful in the ready contest, you will have to become a private entity in the second phase. Roughly how many applications do you expect? Will it be choosing the top 20 of 1,000 or the top 20 of 100,000? Whoever asked this question, I really appreciate your enthusiasm for how many submissions you think are out there. I would say in past rounds, and you can go on the HeroX website and see all of those past videos from past entries. We've had roughly about 150 submissions in this process. Again, I would definitely encourage you, you can head over to HeroX, you can count them for yourself, or you can watch successful videos from teams that have won and videos from teams that have not won any of the phases, but they are all up on HeroX for reference. If a technology is still early and a prototype is unlikely at the end of 1 year, is it better to wait for a later round? That's a good question. I would say no. I would definitely encourage you to apply in part because as part of the review process, our panel of expert reviewers will give comments on each of the proposals that they receive. And we have seen, we've had at least 5 teams that did not win the first time they submitted, but they improved over the course of a year and took some of those comments, and then were at the top of the list and won the second round. So number one, I think it's a great experience to get some industry feedback on what you're thinking. And number two, as I mentioned, the network's here to support you, and we have actually seen teams that really didn't think a prototype was possible within a year, with the resources available to them through the American Made Network, have actually been able to accelerate that timeline. So I would definitely encourage you to apply. And I would say number three, sometimes a team has a really, really good start and something happens and maybe they don't get that prototype by the last phase, but they've gotten, again, those really great connections with the network, maybe a voucher to work with the national lab, maybe some leads on some other funding opportunities. So I would say it definitely doesn't hurt to apply now. What are the IP restrictions or needs? We don't take any of your IP. We don't want any of your IP. That all stays with you. I think just the thing to recognize is that part of your submission is public, and to be careful with what you want to share. But in terms of IP, you keep it all. Is this competition exclusive to companies past the idea stage? What if I already have a prototype? It is definitely, it is open to everyone. And we see successful submissions that are an idea that haven't ever been made, or maybe people that have a small prototype and this prize would really help them make another prototype or get the prototype in a field or scale up their prototype or get to a commercialization. So I would say don't necessarily worry about the stage that you're in. We've seen success kind of across the board. If we already have contacts at a connector, can we involve them directly? Yes, definitely. You do not need to go through us to get matched to a connector. If you already know a connector, work with them directly. If you are a connector and you know someone who would be a great applicant, reach out to them, call them up and say, hey, I think you should apply for the Solar Prize, let me help. If you are able to make those connections without us, that's great, do it. If you need us, we're here to help. Another good question, what exactly does round 4 mean? Is this the 4th time the American Made Challenges has run through Ready, Set, and Go? Yes, we have gone, for round 1, we've done Ready, Set, and Go. For round 2, we have done Ready, Set, and Go. For round 3, we have done Ready, Set, and those teams are finishing up Go. And so this is round 4 where we're doing the whole process over again. Are the judges the same from the previous rounds? Another good question. Some of our judging panel does stay the same from the previous round, but we do bring in a lot of other industry experts. So the first phase is a panel of industry experts will be assigned to review your submission, and then a DOE will review them as well. But assume it'll be different people. Does your website have profiles of the previous winners? Yes, it does. You can go to American Made Challenges /Solar Prize and check them out and see the work that they've done. I would also say I would encourage you to head over to HeroX and look at their videos too. I think one of the things that's been so great to see during these competitions is the progress that these teams make from the Ready competition to the Go competition. So I don't want you to go on there and look at the winning team and think that they're so sophisticated and there's no way that you can match what they're doing at the Go competition. Like, they all started out at a place like you and worked hard over the competition and used the resources available to them to progress. So I would say definitely look at the progression of what they've done and take what they've done as an example, but also look at the progress they made over the course of this. If we apply as a university for the Ready phase, but then incorporate into a company later, can we apply as that company for the Set phase? Yes. So as we mentioned, kind of anyone can be in the Ready phase. By the Set phase, you do need to be incorporated. So we see it all the time. An individual will compete in Ready and will set up an LLC for Set. A university group will apply as the university in Ready, and then we'll spin out something in Set. So definitely doable. Are emerging materials technologies considered? Yes, definitely. What types of projects have been funded in the past? Again, I definitely recommend that you head over to the HeroX site and our website and check out those previous winners. How quickly will decisions be made? That's another great question. The deadline for your submissions is October 8th, and we hope to announce winners in early December. And I think we are getting close to the bottom of the question list. We will definitely be posting this webinar in the HeroX forum, so you can refer back to this. I think there were a couple of questions on it was a lot of information. Can I repeat that? So this webinar will be posted. There are FAQs available there. If we didn't get to your question today, please either look at the rules, the HeroX, the FAQs, and if we don't get to it, definitely email us. But There's a question on if we will be holding a virtual networking event prior to the submission to connect or form teams. Be on the lookout. Several of our Power Connectors will be hosting events over the next kind of 6 weeks as we lead up to that submission deadline. So if you are signed up on HeroX, you will definitely get notifications on when those events are, as a great way to meet other people. So I think I'm starting to sound like a broken record now, but HeroX is your place to go for information. If you have won the American Made Solar Prize Ready competition in the past but didn't win set, can you apply again? Yes, previous competitors can apply. I would refer to the rules for direction. We definitely encourage, if you're going to apply, that there has been substantial progress or that you're applying with a new idea. Can we submit multiple applications? Yes, each person can submit up to 3 different submissions. And I think your questions have been great. A lot of great questions. A lot of good things to think about. I think a lot of you are really on track and looking good to be a part of the prize. Again, as a next step, read those rules, head over to HeroX, connect with the Power Connector, and make sure to watch those updates, as we'll give you more opportunities to connect with Power Connectors or networking type events and reminders and such. Yes, Harrison, I think you've been monitoring the questions as well. Are there any big ones here that I've missed, or I think we might be about ready to wrap up?
And apologies if you touched on this and I missed it while I was reading something else, but we had a question about multiple applications from the same person.
Yep, we will take up to 3 applications per person. So if you have a couple ideas, toss them both in.
Right. I think that's about it. We had a few more questions about kind of specific technologies or technology combinations and whether they'd be eligible. I'm guessing we'd refer people to the connectors and Power Connectors for those questions.
Yes, the best guidance I can give is look at the rules. We outline kind of broadly what we're looking for, and if you have specific questions about if your technology fits, definitely talk to a Power Connector.
I don't see anything else, Sarah.
Great. Well, thank you all for joining. If you are a connector and we're on the line today, attending this webinar, don't forget it gives you 2 points for that accelerator challenge. So make sure to keep track of that and mark it down and let us know that you are here. For all you competitors out there, best of luck. We are so excited to see the ideas that you come up with. Getting to read these ready submissions is one of my favorite parts of this process. You are all so creative and really great ideas, and I can't wait to see it. So make sure to get them in by October 8th. And Harrison